Adesimama abono nsia ya mamu nyina to omemu nsam ni ama wodo so de ayensaka ene aboaboa no atodin enwumre no nsia kasebo a ye ne yetiefuo si hu nkonyan utie free peace 104.3 FM so okay 101.7 neat 100.9 nimi ensan wo shepa sabeka junction akra eno ati hello 101.5 FM wadum kumase Ghana man temye dunsia baby a oti enkan kasa fidie be seduesian mini etire kwamnone a be sediasa peacefmonline.com ghanatoday.com so abode etiefo benya bia kan de kase ebonim akotene bini
Ghana man Penny's Excellency John Dramani Muhammad Yafutu anu ode kwa ma Ghana force yenyina yenka yahumum kasa ye kasa twitwe de wasenya de betimi aboa woman no
voices of religious extremism.
Local government minister Kasane dia work kanisa ban na ye krado se womo na afi so nkramofo be kabom se ne be ya empunto ma pabetimi akoso attorney general wo my Ghana mu ne dua beto dwase with the application akwa dane high court ne dia work kanse piempeni nsam a wo beto wo mani mo nhwem so obetimi abode ato nchen na adom kuma ye wo my Ghana mra hye bedwefie se a ye company fo mu gina ese bia mu sinyefe bail condition be sia ba mo de ma asa so twe anu wodene eno ye
It is a legal instrument meant to ensure an accused person's availability for trial, not to punish.
Now, no, and our University of Ghana, Legon Penny for the better to watch us a COVID-19 yard, naturally be so. Also, for your show, my Ghana, Pomo, they want some so catch like Ghana for Seni Quine, Esia Yam Shishing.
This is a localized outbreak and we are on top of it. There is no need for panic.
Oh my Ghana, ya mamreni amania solar action program hon to man na nei empenifo dia to dwa watches abem e dia ma Ghana fo nyina nteja ho de wonsam no e be pem dia ko nenim ene nwumre yi ensem pina ka we hu yesi nkonwa ye de somo yemfa seda manwumeku yi
Osons chemist at the Osons Gala capsules immune system benya hode akwati anyare wa ayade enka wonto fom da MTN network ne so ede Ghana baby a obefa bi MTN wo ho High Sense Ghana home appliances ya papa DCS fie no office nyina e wona eto free Dolphin roofing system na boda so se edan ne ya baako ana se bomdo sopuo obebo so kama ede amamo Budget cash and carry brew James energy drink 20 years still counting. Raoul's Pharmaceuticals, yo. Or the new high lady virgin wash at the Aba. Is yes, you were by Manitimu, you were best man cassa. Pepsodent to a Huadenson Kubia, Ubia Nibin to the two seer, or bamboo franopa, at the Cosia de chain 24/7. And there, or yina spices, yan yadiane. Baby, I'll be Fabia Obenya, or yina spices yato. Dia wunye bia ubenya uhodie JM ado ensansio ana wode adepa abedwaswe na wei eye well sleep ebem wada na ho obi wo hanu a wase adura na jo a wontume nna wode anumbi me ba meka ho asem ye pa de a kirewo said me koya da wurumane se amansan tia me kwabena mafo ana
Mame akosua etonam enafe ohine gwa kasebo ahine yesi nkonwa kasebo ya de ba besuma fe kasebo na munche mankasa eniem Ghana man Penny's Excellency John Dramani Muhammad and workers ne dia wadi to dwane se na wiase entokwabra ne ya atweniti ekoma ho kire wo hia ene nkwaikro ene eku ade hye bebre na yade so atweniti ena nkabom papa mu hyeda nya dwuma na so my Ghana de bekan se asomdwe piesie no eda so epim hono ma enya de da fom kram na Ghana man His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wotwa ne nkase mu en wo se enye Ghana fo ya ho de nemum Nyankopɔn twedi ampon basaya adom ne nwosra bi ehumobro bi a wode adom Ghana ntina mpempenso we yeda so timbe bia yetima Ghana yeguso a yepem ekɔ ne nemu anu nti en wo kyese ne due ya eye July boso ne de kan se wato ne bo ase yesi wonom said that kese Ghana fo gina fufuo ne yebehye ohwe kwabena mafo se ane fufuo wagina mu kama pa na ye bompa yada Nyankopɔn twedi ampon basaya adom ase sansa wo hwa wo my Ghana my bi etwa ho hia de bia dan ntokwa na so Ghana fo de baby eguso a yepem kɔ no emu ye de papa mampani ato so ya wo kyerɛ se wo hwa nsɔre dan hodoɔ enkamofo dan ahodoɔ a wo buo ni die asumdwe pa ye de tia na die pa na Ghana fo ye pedi biom ne nyina Nyankopɔn adoma da manti wo besra yen ese kasantwitwie kasa wo ka sabe efiri wonum betofo ma sabe ase janan wo se sa kasa ye mpebie tie na emum asumdwe ho nsam wo ka asam a wotim se woni pa no wo do wo tema wade a wo ka nyina ya de bia wo hwe nim sane be your my Ghana unity anase nkabom ebetimi ejina naso Ghana ma His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wase ade ba kwa ne fe pa ne se nkramofo na afeso Kristofo ye tibom ye ware ye ho edubro nya se ye ye nuanom nkramofo yi wo mu di kura sen ye de ada fasha ba ene Kristofo so ya ye ginemu a wo kyese ne nyina ya de bia ye Yesu papa ye da ne diem na wo gina James 2:17 so kasa kyerɛ se nyese bia ye ka ena ade ne de ye pa unity nkabom wo se edwuma ne ne asam no.
Our nation Ghana is richly endowed with resources and natural beauty, and something even more precious, spiritual harmony and religious tolerance. In a world where faith can divide nations, our faith in Ghana unites us. In Ghana, churches and mosques do not compete for dominance. They coexist in mutual respect and in dignity. Our different traditions and our backgrounds have not weakened us. They have strengthened us in our shared identity. This is a precious gift we must protect. Let us remain vigilant against the voices of tribalism, against the voices of religious extremism, and against the poison of political hostility. These are the seeds of division that we must never let take root in our precious nation, Ghana. We must speak a language of peace, compassion, and mutual respect. We must build bridges, not barriers. For we are one people, sharing one land and pursuing one identity and destiny.
Ghana Mount His Excellency John Dramani Mama Tuane Nkase mu kyerɛ sɛ tumi a Ghana fo mode ahyɛ ne nsɛm no wase wɔ kramu ye na enye na hoɔden ɛyɛ Nyankopɔn totorobo nso bi adom binti ɛne ne saa tumi wɔ kranti wɔ bɛhwɛ animu ɛsɛ mmra ne bɛyɛ adwuma sɛ enye ɔno nkuto na emom appointees nipa wo yi wɔ mu nyina Ghana mmra wo betumi edi so.
We must hold those in authority, including myself, accountable to the highest standards of integrity and humility. Public office is not a privilege for personal gain. It is a sacred trust bestowed by the people and a responsibility to serve all, especially the most vulnerable of us. Even the office of the president, which by the grace of God I now hold, is not above the law. Leadership must be grounded in justice, in honesty, and a reverence of God. If we want a just Ghana, we must be just in leadership. A nation's greatness is not measured by the heights of its skyscrapers or the size of its budget. The values of its people are the true measure of a nation's greatness. The virtues of courage, of honesty, of discipline, of sacrifice, and compassion are what really measure the greatness of any nation.
Ghana His Excellency John Dramani Mahama nensam enono empanifo asemi ko manka bi yemfa nka asema nti Cardinal Peter Texan kasaye ne dia wo kan se hu behia se wo ye Ghana ni a wo benya botaye vision kese pe besi weni so se abrabon hase na mebo akopem na afi wase Nyankopon ahoden na etimi abo echidom.
We need to go ahead and formulate also our own places within that vision. And that just means that we're looking for virtuous Ghanaians. We're looking for Ghanaians who are virtuous, who develop virtue, and who are led by virtue, who develop a fulcrum on which their own lives would balance on a virtuous conduct and virtuous positions. Otherwise, Greed will dominate this land, and when greed dominates this land, there will be a lot of negative externalities to be borne by all of us. Negative externalities, we have them already. The Pra River doesn't sell prawns and shrimps anymore. Ofin River has become a puddle of mud. The Ankobra is already gone. Children in upstream who jump into waters that I used to do when I was a child, a stream to swim, they then are taken to the hospital with ruptured scrotum because of exposure to cyanide and mercury. So the negativities are with us. Our church hospitals in the middle part of this country talk about increasing children born with deformities. So, my dear friends, the external negativities are already with us. And it causes virtuous thinking to not simply look for personal gain and interest, but to think about Ghana as a nation.
And yeah, quote Cardinal Peter Texan Nelson Sanson with Salamat Kukua Pencil and Buabuanoa. What they besom yen.
Na atoya mantamusuafo Honorable Joseph Nelson ena wakasa ena wase hu behia pase woman ni baabi a yedru no ye hwe kan a ye fa so eye niema ye betimi aboa na afoforo so anya fa hodie edi afrimu na ne kasa ye mu ena wase se ye pese oman no ye reset dia ena ye sedie yesie niema ye gidie mu yesitu ya namo no ye nhye mu kenane ye nsesan se de be ya oman no betimi afa ne to mapa edi afra na wakasa ye se sisi baabi a Druno, a who be here pass a Ghana Funina. Yabesha sen kabom ebetimi afan tumapa a dear fra, said a bear mino ebenya asunje. What is handsome way at Suja ebra, na atoye mantem womo a bompire, ada tradian ponyaco as sing cramofodiano, womo a yeno, I was second D, a fay, and cramofodiano so or more a yeno if you kuma police park.
Call to reset is a call to action. To reset means to return to foundational values of integrity, discipline, patriotism, and love for one another in our beloved nation, Ghana. Romans 12:2 reminds us, do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. As a people, we must be willing to reset our values, to uphold truth over convenience, peace over provocation, and service over selfish ambition. This is how transformation begins. And then comes renewal. Renewal of our faith in one another, renewal of institutions, renewal of trust between government and citizens, between the youth and our elders, and many within our jurisdiction.
Na Joseph Nelson etwa so ebiom ese wasre Ghana for se hu behia pass e bebom pae na yeda twedian ponyankopon ase e won pempenso a wode yen ababedru wase wo hwe oman no enkane se de na sikasam esi etie na bra ne yekoto aba ne se de tension esi e wo oman mu nyina nyankopon abo ye ho ban amasundwe aba esi kasam so e konanimu a e wase yeda twedian ponyankopon ase.
United act of worship and gratitude is an affirmation that our faith is a cornerstone of our freedom and national progress. Our theme for this first observance, which is reflect, reset, and renew for national prosperity, is a timely and powerful one. As Christians, we understand the value of reflection, taking stock of where we have been, how far God has brought us, and acknowledging both our triumphs and our shortcomings. Indeed, our national story is one of divine mercy and favor. Despite economic pressures, social challenges, and political tensions, Ghana remains a beacon of stability and hope.
Wo eda ye si wo se ye bo empire no ewo atoye mantemu no na Hamadia Muslim Mission panyipa wada wo ma no ewo mantemu no mu enso ekopie mu ewo bebi a won so wo bo won de na no ena yewra Mohammed Frempon opoku ekasa no eno se ebre adru se Ghana ye be kire odo na yenkoye se wei eya amanyosem wei amanyosem wei ebasa emwa ye ma odo ene asundwe emra se de be ya oman no ebekọ enkan.
Enedei yeshia hei metwe ya adwene asi boshe Messiah eye Imam Mahdi amediafo ejidie ne se wono ene nea okomhyeni kronkron Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ehye ne honkom se obeba ne maya etoso mienu na wabesiesie Islam no na asem bia oka ye wose ampara se empaibo wo hoi eye kwan a ye fa so edinya enkitahudie ewo onipa ene otumfuo nyankopɔn nsɛm na yɛgye danseɛ nso sɛ obi biara a wɔne nyankopɔn ewo twaka emu oduru no saa nipa no ɛnya ade a ɔtesan na emom abere bia no opem ekɔ nanim na oyɛ nkunimdifoɔ nso saa bere yi a yɛbɔ mpaeɛ asrɛ asomdwie yɛasrɛ enkankɔ na yɛasrɛ empuntuo ɛde ama yɛman yɛmmɔ mmɔden sɛ yɛbɛkae sɛ tima wowei ɛho hia sɛ yɛbɛte yɛho ase ɛho hia
ɛne a wotiye Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission panyipa wada wo ma no ewatoye mantamu yewra Mohammed Frempon Opoku yenua apia dankwa Rock FM enede amaneboyi ebesom yen
na ebi koso wo Asante mantamu Asante Regional Minister Honorable Dr. Frank Amoakohene on wakasa wo tumedi no ase Regional National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving Service Omuye wo a Calvary a charismatic church ya ewo Kumasi. Na wo ana swafwe esre adese wa santimantemu se ade ba ko atwimpuntuo san eye ebusia mu ntitemu ye frane se tribalism no eye ade bia no ho ahu pa saa ade we se yansani yentu ase emfiri wo manmu ni asososoa ensoso kankan ya ma hinkan wie sa 7 si asoso tribalism no so a edega na bekwa akogyina ba bia ye de yensa begu yetie so enti efiri na de kɔ yanto sa tribalism no ntontene said ye be ya mpuntu obetumi aba.
To reflect is to acknowledge, as His Excellency the President wants us to, because he says we should reflect, reset and renew for national prosperity. To do this, we need to honestly come to a self-realization and admit that we have not been doing something right for the past 68 or 65 years. And we cannot continue on that path. Hence, we need to take a break and we have a renewed course and a national agenda for prosperity. We need to reflect and rethink that is this what the forefathers intended for us? Is this what the forebears wish for our republic? A republic and a democracy that erodes our sense of nationalism, a republic that shows immoral conduct among its citizens and leaders, a republic that is characterized by disrespect for the elderly and for our leaders, a republic that is divided on tribal lines, partisan lines, religious lines, among others. His Excellency the President wants us to reflect on this and maybe try something new that may work for us as a country.
Dear Yate say Okase ya Asante Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amoakohene. Na after that, Anna Catholic Archbishop Wokumase, Most Reverend Gabriel Justice Yao Anote, on also can be what you made in wase.
What we are aspiring towards has been aspired towards long before us. Julius Caesar's time, Philip of Macedonia, they all wanted the summum bonum, the common good. We want the common good for Ghana, so we should all put our hands to the task. Elections should not only be about winning and staying in power so that kingdom come, but elections should help us defend the defenseless, speak for the speechless, shelter the homeless, empower the jobless, feed the hungry, and strengthen the needy. When citizens, we can see a peaceful, prosperous, and stable nation when Ghanaians will collectively crush ugly head of bribery, corruption, power drunkenness, or abuse of power, false solidarity, crimes of every kind.
Oh, that is it. Translate the needy. The ate say Okase ye Catholic Archbishop Wokumase, Most Reverend Gabriel Justice Yao Anote. Na needy actually na Asokwa Municipal Chief Executive, Honorable Amo Kamel, Ahafo Ano South East Municipal Chief Executive, Honorable Yamba Ibrahim Nelson, Wonumonso Kebi.
Divine intervention and human intervention. As a nation, we must fight for divine intervention. Sa intervention na yinya ebeboaye amabia yi human intervention so wo aban ho say so be human intervention ama nobinu omote asepa ene Ghana ema omuso no atom. They I say reflect, renew for national development, we need to reflect as a nation. There may be a year, we need to renew our mind with a clean heart. Say, baby, I do no mind. In yes, you put your mind. See, in the mind, there's a John the man Muhammad. This Sheiba, and I'm say Ghana. You see a coin password. It will call you.
My beer between Poma. This is a man for me. I'm to them. Yes, I'm saying. No more beer. Muslim. Said the beer. You made the beer. Oh dear. I mess him with one and a boy. And my Yama Basa. And I drink sorry, I drink fear, but any penetration will be here. If you want what I say, I come on to do it behind you. Yeah, Kyle Monfort said, yeah, bomb pie, celebrate a couple of moon, I bet you on my Ghana, and I'm my size and yes, and you two for your Concordia.
Way I two honorables. As a municipal chief executive, Honorable Amo Kamal Merces. I have for Ano Southeast Municipal Chief Executive, Honorable Yamba Ibrahim Nelson Merces. Yenya Samson Kwame Nyamita da Urmaneso Obuabu Anoa.
Local government minister ye Ahmed Ibrahim one walk kasa no watch say bremu de wo mai krado se ne tie bia Ghana ban ene enkramofo sumba be kabum se ne be o mai Ghana mpuntuom ebetimi apem akonenim wato so ya watch se begina nipa emudie se ne be ya tenten ne betimi aye adwuma sa so ena wasum ko ahoden ye betimi ekuremu no enuntiam wade sansem we nyina to dwa ne due na watch se ene de da kese pa de Matias mai Ghana sansa wo hwa de bia da ye kwa asore de ma ye kobom paye ewrade hu ye mobo nenso ene de ya hyede yesi wonom so oman ya ye kakaye sunsum fam se ne be ye janan kasa wo betimi abo ye ho ban ti sa brei ene wo se Ghana for ye hwe na afi no kuradie ahobrase atenten ne na afi so enkuntebu papa betimi akoso na ya se Allah se Allah ni nhira no wo chicha Ghana ya na bra no wonka enti ene sei empire ye bo nyina ya asumdwe se ne be ya Ghana betimi edi ye Ghana bambo ebetimi ejina naso pampe se witwa Ahmed Ibrahim etwa ne nkasa mu wode atodwa ya watch se ebremu de ye hwe nim se ne tie bia ne ene da kese se no wo ye Kristo ne wo ye nkramoni a wotena se a na wadwendwene ho se nti Ghana dia pote ena me ya wo manom ebetimi afa ne ntuma pa edi efram wade sansem wo nyina akoto dwabra ye nuanom nkramofo session ekoso Kanda Mosca ewo enkramantam ha.
Today's prayer is a reminder that nation building is not only a political task, but a moral and spiritual obligation, one that requires humility, justice, and accountability. As the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, said, each of you is a shepherd, and each of you is responsible for his flock. Our leaders and citizens alike bear responsibility in building a nation rooted in God consciousness, truth, and service. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, as a minister responsible for religious affairs, I'm committed to promoting deeper engagement between government and the Muslim Ummah. Our partnership is essential in promoting national development through moral integrity, social justice, faith, and faith-inspired actions.
Yera manensi one man was saying your boni bit is saying justice and nasa katashe ene proye drumudie kanka dokrowa ene ya shase se wudwade ho what the support ni semina sane beya ohu betimi atenia ye hwehwe sane beya Ghana betimi apema konanim eya asumdwe nyina ye tena wodomu wase anu ana Ghana ye hwe nim se ne due ye nsa betimi aka.
Let us use this day to pray for our president, vice president, parliament, judiciary, public institutions, and the people of Ghana. May Allah grant our leader and leaders wisdom and heart filled with compassion and hands committed to do the service to the nation. Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of people until they change what is in themselves. Your Excellency, as we give thanks to the Almighty God today, let this prayer service be a call for internal reflection, national unity, and moral reform. May our heart be turned away from division, injustice, and corruption, and towards peace, harmony, equity, and progress.
Local government minister Yera Ahmed Ibrahim nate sa wotone boasi a wokasa wo chirechemu asumdwe ho nsam kuto na woka Abdullahi Dasmani ene boaboa sansem boyano
ase enja ehene wasanso ena waye ahemfupanya wada ase north mansini ano nana konaje ampaw ena wakasa ena wade ato omanfo a womo ewo ase north enim se womo homodea se wobesisa wo suban esane se omanpanyi John Dramani Mahama ni swandi hunu ese se wo be reset Ghana ahye Ghana foforo no se yanse se ye suban na ye ne no ankwa e be ha adwen papa wo se ye reset ye suban no na kwa fa so ye tue eto so na ye hwe aka ho asem afa kwan a ye ho awa honedie ho nsem no ba bia ne etutu nwura gu basa no chemse saade no enya ade a ebeboa kra na wo se ye jai resetting agenda na eto mampanyi John Dramani Mahama nkwa so a enya ade a ebeye ye nti Ghana fo nyina yemfa ye ho enhyem wo de sansam we atudwa ebra na wo bom paye na wada twedian ponyakopon ase e wa asin breku Presby Church eho ene odi afutuo ama Ghana fo yi
si no me da kwa ye me de a me fa e reset e pese me sre asin no empani ne nkwara so reset we any can reset your time no hold that enti ya pay bi dia to so ya say Africa punctuality o ma ye reset e wo your time no afi ento so reset tas enso wo that eno so ye henye ni edwom tickets and assembly de bobra we say wala ka ne bape na ko yin ni se ya reset wo ye to tua o ma na be kwaso a reset no man pani de beto so na ye adwuma
na ne kasa no achi no ene woto aso ade adesrede to hanfo enkaye anim se won srada ensase no a ewo ho no aban ba na so ohia asase bi ade aye mpuntunwuma wo mo fa asase no ma no nyina e kan reset agenda no eho
na nan sse ye reset yo ama ye pani a ye ma wa bedi sse the Jewish ayekoso project or pasasi kakra every project there is set you wonti say the brother tracy can be amaye ansana pasasi no no that's it enti na nanum de sisera nyame ayadom mama beda o manu no e be hia break akasa na ya adwempa yensu set ye kakra
na ebra na wo bom paye ewo Asimbreku Presby Church no na Asin North Mansin Cratch Penny Honorable Sylvester Amache Nyakon enso ewo dwumadie no asibi na ne kasa ye mu eno wo se baabi a ye dru no ewo se yetimi ehwe kwan a efa so eye niema ekame a se da bia de kro no a dada no a ena ya so ya ne ye per resort foforo na se ye per nsusuano ana se ade foforo bi ede afirimu o chem se saade no ebasa no a nya de yensa betimi akanti ye pe resort foforo na ye di ede adwuma de a yensa ye suban eno ebeboa
ye pese ye reset ana ye man samba ye ntumi nya nyoma dada na ye na ne ye hwese sesa ba ensida ne mom disa nyoma bi a ne ye no ye sakraye wo ne mo ye sakraye de papa enye sakraye da boni an ye be ye ye na kase ne mo nyoma papa wo ene ye be ye ye eno na empunti a wo pe empunti a memepe empunti o se mai ka no e bi twa dai abamu eti yesesa ya na twene yesesa ya na prapo yesesa ya na wonchu yesesa ya guta hodi na nyoma papa Ghana man pani ene ne aboafo ene penfo adiapa ye nyina de ahoka aso yesebo so bia ye be clean up ewu
ne kasa achi no ene woto aso biom esenani age papa wo hwe adehye a wo Asin North Mansimu ahonkeka ya wo mode ba mpaebo bia no ase se wo beda twedian ponyankopon ase no nani age pa
and adwumadie no abawieye asomdwemo na ewiase mu no ekristofo musamifo obi agitum se empaebo enyankopon akode a yebo a ebetumi amboa motumi atumpon akoye nim yesra ne se yema no empem hanoma ebeto aso na bibiara yetumi aye yedinka ko presby a ekristofo koyo mode ye kokora no musamifo no edi yechi ne ko presby aso dam ko yeso yewie ye nyina so edi yechi aba musamifo abaye som amawie we kire se enkabompa na aba amanfo ahokeka no nani asoniye pa esanse ebae no ne npenum se betumi ayesei lenso ade fitiase na kose dia yegitum se afida sese de no ebeko akonanim ntie na de abese de asala mawrade
Asin North Mansi Cratch Penny Honorable Sylvester Amache Nyakon nene ena yetiye ensemi Odum Prince Linford Nkwa FM asinfosu ena etro ensemi ebesom yen
Na Diocesan Bishop Methodist Church Sipsi Bakwai Diocese Right Reverend John Betu and Wakatre Abaim Wedmayafo Metra government appointees no institutional heads and a civil servant in say Adia will be antin whom free who a bribery and corruption. Was says Adia me no way ya mekan simple sano bribery and corruption no. A say wa mine papa a bomb mine I will maybe at you at the entry abrochre say so call honum near castle aquaje bribe and now say corruption effort for ultimate wa wukura but a hadie and yes anetrie na Right Reverend John Kwesi Betu Trinity Assemblies of God Church wo bebieni amiaso Bekwai Municipality National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving etifias mo de to so de say reflect reset renewal for national prosperity.
And say, oh my Ghana, Ebekosuya, Yinya, Ketasician Proye, na personal Gunya say, Edufupe, Baku for person who did the main or ye, na audible brand, MY. Yentry and free, sa, Proye, Sembiara, and yes, say, ye dear Dumashensa, na ye real musica, ye real moja pade, air cotton, ye senono, ye nama, ye senono. The entry and free son, my name, near my Yura, Mahama, Niswadi Huna, a dan in this sono, Ghana, Emremu, and Ebreso, or Mana Obuno, Sana Wanyakuma on no nyensa no mempuntu umra ye my Ghana.
Right Reverend John Kwesi Betu amfanso ho wode na ase ani kabia ema His Excellency John Dramani Mahama se waya de papai o man nyina ye monsema no se wose afuo kura wo do na senyankopa ehunu mu a obekona akire be yaje afa enti wei wo fiti ase wode awurade ena efiti ase ema saade yi aba nsem da ho se some time ago His Excellency John Dramani Mahama en waka se yemfa ayeye nkamfo ene na asema awurade empepada afi wasre youth ni mebunu no se nyaga na mse nko ani aduma monko pensa no duma nye na sansa no duma no ebetumi am wadidi emfie bebre chance agalam say ya mode se nsue ne kwaye
yeda era Mahama se ewa dwumpa unya ese nede yenyina mfamo empire no kwasem ne emabu na wo Ghana obi apadwuma ye enam senti ta obi tua na mo na yo enye onim enti de meka kire meburu ne se de dikan no ejapade na wo Ghana no eye men ne mu yenyina ye dia enti se be se oman na ejapade bi tize kwaye ene nkensu aye sanu no emwa ye maye nya hode na yenye skamfa enhwe emo oman no so ban de beka kire mremebu ne se omomoden se omunsuensa no dwuma bi ku no omokwa omankase nso omunsa no dwuma no omedidi omopa no omya bibi enwo ombotum sempo se omoye mosque ay business ay kan ye galamse ya eno ase mra wo abemu no de befa sa kwan papa no so na etu efom agudi a ede asondwe ba amom nso omsa ka oma no
na dia te se okase ye Right Reverend John Kwesi Betu wono enwoye Diocesan Bishop Methodist Church Sipsi Bekwai na nwati na mrasebeteni a wotirama adese wo bebi ani anwea so Bekwai abato mpesu aso Honorable Bright Asamoah Brefo ne kasem no woda adese a ewo bebi ani ase umaya ade pa local council of churches mumo nsema mo ho Muslims leadership musumaya ade pa se munyina mode wodon kabom soronko siya mo mpaye emfa na awurade ase bebi a wode bebi ani anwea so Bekwai municipality aba beduru nie na wo sre wono samra sebejeni wakwa lobby project ahodo be sedu ye nam kwa so ba na de a wo sre asofo omosiem wo ho imam a omosiem wo ho ne se omumfa mpai bonta sa project no achi anya se bia na ama medru ade bia hia mpai bo kire se some time ago kura bible wodifuo bi na wodi project bi afia awurade ho ana Awurade soma a ɔbɔfoɔ bi sɛ nkoamfa project no mmra ɛturu wiemu apɛ wiemu atumfoɔ marine spirit adamoni and womoche ɔbɔfoɔ no wɔ soro womoche no sie ya kidnapo no a entinkasa project no enkodu nipa a wɔsoma no ne nkyɛn da. It takes abɔfoɔ ahoɔdenfoɔ bi te sɛ Michael ɛna Gabriel nom ansa no wɔmutumi akɔgye saa ɔbɔfoɔ ne firi saa adamoni spirit ne nsɛm. Enti wɔmfa mpaebɔ ntaa n'akyi sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ saa project no nyinaa spirit biara nkyene nka kwam na ɛbɛtumi abɛduru.
Tiasofo me domase sɛ mabɔ mpaeɛ mmɔden ɛde yɛma yɛahyɛ Awurade nsa na afei sɛ mode municipality no nso ahyɛ Awurade nsa. Menim sɛ Nyame atie yɛsufrɛ. Yɛnya mpaebɔ ada nti montɔnkɔ so ɛnkae mansini wɔ mpaebɔ. Monkae mmarahyɛbadwani a megyina manan mu wɔ mmarahyɛbadwa fie na ɛyɛ MC ɔno nso a yɛkɔpere nneɛma no ba na ɔno nso ɛde atu anammɔ implement nso yɛnkaa ne mpaebɔ. Na yɛn nyinaa no ne yɛdɔ yɛ ho na ɛmansini ɛmfa ne ntoma famfra ka COVID-19 no ho asɛm ɛbɛsrɛ sɛ yɛma yɛne ɛna hɔ na yɛyɛ nneɛma a ɛma awiene bi ɛmɛtɔ yɛ so. Mmeranteɛ ne mmabaawa nso nea meka nso ne sɛ ɛyɛ slogan bi ɛkɔ so wonim ready anaa ɛne deɛ ɛkeka ho
na deɛ yɛte sɛ ɔkasa last one hitie Oya mrasebedeni a wogyina ma adese wo bebi ani ahwea so bekwa constituency Honorable Bright Asamoah Brefo na yenua oboaboa nsem ya no edebre yen ema ye bobo so ma mu aye ewuku ado Western North region na ayi na mekan
obofo na
aha menim sa Daniel Ono bompaye ne kire Awurade straight enti Awurade yi nano no ene wode soma obofo foforo so wonfanko ena na meka se anka so ono asa ka kire Daniel na street
da bi se obi a wone bofo ye kwa ye be obi a bofo wone
kidnap no so omukun na anka ba yadin
Etua de ye etua na eguso ade chechire manti busum ya yesim ya July bosom ni de kan etua Ghana fo da yenim a ye hwe nim se ne etie bia ye betimi atua na dross ebi ni se fa ngobo no epeja de kosoro sa so ena nkane abo de PURC mpanifo bo amane a wo kire mum ese wo mu atom wo ha mu chiche mienu chiripo eduanan enum si ye betimi atua na se ye ntimi ntua no eda so twetwere Ghana fo ye boa fevat ya ye de bia insurance so kra ho nom wani eya rubber ewo my Ghana muso to 7% ebia wo konso a wo hwe nim se ne etie bia obetimi atua na no nam so ma Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies wo mo dia to dwa ya wo che se fango bo na aba be to dwa se ne due yi kɔ ne be hya se se kɔsoro no enya wo mo na mum fango bi ne wo dwa ma so ne bo no kɔsoro enti eba ne sa wo mo ntimi ni dwa bra wo mbe boka enti ne etie bia ne di mu se ye betimi atomu diama Ghana form na wo ba ko atwemu na beto dwase mpanifo ya womo PURC bo amane chese si ade womo ato obo ase ahwese ne inflation sitie afe Ghana sido de toto dollar no ho ase ne esi konom na womo hunu se entumu amma ewon kane abo no ebe ha dwene pansio de semente bebi agina na agina na emum eba ne kane abo ne de 2.45% ena wode abia so VAT de ne de womo chese non life insurance policies no motor for fire na afe property insurance ya tumwa eno ye VAT ne 15% we ye no si nchen ya wani ye rubber no eye 7% na mpanifo de to so na wamo so kire se ne de to wamo kon so de ombeje mu de ama Ghana fo ebre mu de mpempre ye wa hoden ye betimi de atua na ye kwa ama no so ye ne Professor Godfred Abopin ekwa kodi nkomo economist wasanso ye professor of finance at University of Ghana Legon ekwa kodi nkomo Prof enyumre ya kwa ba o
me mawajo any ETF na but empom te sen
nyame adom ene empaibo adwumaden a wo bo Legon ene Ghana fo aseda ye de mount ye ho ye na so ai
yes adom
ye da nyame ase ene July boso ni de di kan na matomebo a me chirechirem sania fu obo ne cost electricity cost VAT edma non life insurance no na me bisa se ye betimi atua eno so dodo
I say, yeah, how no, encoy. Senior Devia Macanono. Say, Ushe, yen economy. Now, share our finances. The state of our state-owned enterprises. Talking about Electricity Company of Ghana, across all state institutions, there is no state-owned enterprise. Obeka say Ghana, and that just waiting manage more affairs so well. We can look up to maybe for hope for the country going forward. Let me start off that way. And to correct some of these things and to put the economy on a certain path for sustainable development and economic transformation, it will come down to financing. Good leadership alone may not be enough. It will come down to financing. And of course, the average Ghanaian salaries necessarily haven't gone up. In fact, majority of people are unemployed. Even those who are in employment, more than 70% are in vulnerable employment. So it's all about managing the delicate balance between raising revenue and also preserving lives and livelihoods for Ghanaians. That is going to be difficult going forward. I can understand, say, oil prices, export price per liter. So you share where the cost at which we were procuring it at export end of February before the CD appreciation started. Now say you share up to May, even with this marginal increment, you can see, sir, the impact on households will not be that much because considerable space has been created with the aggressive strengthening of the currency. The price of export petrol was around 16 Ghana cedis, and that came down significantly to about 12. That creates a scope of about 4. So even with some adjustment in there, it will still be below what the baseline figure was. We can accommodate that going forward. There are other areas improvement in those areas. And in those areas, the prices cost the impact will be that much on Ghanaians. It will be unbearable for them. But of course, maybe from the beginning of the year, or we can go back to the second half of 2024. I will share the effect of IMF program settling in debt restructuring significantly. I will share inflation about to about 8% December 2024, and government has continued on that path, and the inflation about 18.4%. Of course, 18.4%. We bet me I can say it's still very high by world average. To think about it, sir, May last year to May this year, on the average, prices have gone up by 18.4%. It's quite high when salaries haven't gone up by that much and all of that. Then again, say, food inflation. Food inflation is still very high, averaging more than 22%. So we still have a long way to go in ensuring, say, improvement. It will be broad-based. It will broaden enough to rope in every Ghanaian. That is where we are. What is important is that we have to sustain some of the good policies that we are implementing. Some of them, we didn't just start that in 2025. Some from the previous administration, in terms of reserves they handed over, some of the economic fundamentals also informed by the IMF supported program. We should be able to continue on that and make sure that. But before I emphasize improvement that benefited Ghanaians on a mass scale, we are not even looking at maybe the next 5 years or 10 years. In fact, in economics literature, there can say economic transformation, including structural transformation, where there's a mass movement of labor, people from low productivity to higher productivity. We call that one largely structural transformation. And when you also talk about productivity transformation, it doesn't take less than 15 years. We could shorten that with technology and also benefiting from the learning curve, but it will take us a while. What is important is we doing the right thing consistently, backing that with the necessary governance and structural reforms and productivity reforms. That is the way. That will be the only way out. Mamema, one example. Hello. Omema say yetimi focus on agriculture and link that to agribusiness and agro-processing, and we are able to make food cheaply available across the 16 regions with minimal price variation. We would have solved more than 44% of our problems and the hardships of Ghanaians, because the average household in Ghana will spend between 42 to 44% of our household expenditure on food. It is a food inflation here very high. We are talking about something more than 22%. It doesn't matter what other reliefs you bring or changes in the economy until we deal drastically with that. And to solve the food inflation problem, you are also looking at transportation and who linkages now. So we still have a long way to go. That is how I'll put it. But I can also understand saying where we are now. CSC, you making the much needed progress towards economic transformation. We need to take decisions about raising finances. That has to be done. Without that, we cannot look up to external people, aid and the rest of them. We cannot. In fact, government is going to launch a 24-hour policy maybe tomorrow.
Prof, enyumre yedase pa yedase de na tiawa pe na yepese ehunu se ebre na ye right na we akwa se basic services and goods aban no offer to Ghanaians coming from amemu ana Ghana for ye brenti ebre no a right time.
Well, these are difficult times. The government doesn't have the money. If you look at the 2025 budget, even with all the expenditure cuts and all of that, again, it's not just money alone that will solve the problem. Government must look at dealing with corruption, management inefficiencies within some of these state-owned enterprises. Whilst they do that, a certain level of financing would also be needed. So it may not be the optimal time, but these are sacrifices that I think we have to make going forward.
Yada sepanti openi ani ne kodi nkomo Professor Godfred Abopin wono economist peni kwanchefo abene wosikasem wosanso Professor of Finance at University of Ghana Legon ye ko ye ani ne kodi nkomo afi ye pemso de ani achemu ansemfo fro so na no na beto dwa se PM peni ma me get to talk no a yes wontina nchem wato no boase atena se na de sede akoda court ne dia welcome ene se court ne nchirechemu se anya bia court wotumi se obetimi akire se aban anase emra na wode ye adwuma ne kwan so ano no ano a tumi a court ne ekura ho asem na ye ken na sansem we ya wode koda court nti na attorney general wo my Ghana mo Dr. Dominic Ayene wono so de counter application dia akoda high court we dia fa wo mo hwese ne be ya ye ntietia nipa fa wode ho sam so won kran said that be asama PM penny de beda wo mo no Wamu man such as Kelo Konko, na fi 1-2 enguna Attorney General, Edia Tudra ya watches a consensus and asa samwa, PM Penny wadia beda court no. Say ya sama womedi ka cry ye juma, and answer ye kan ye kakre guso pende, was Supreme Court inti, wonim ne enti a wansa de akoma high court say high court nto ne boase nda demo na wansan so amfifi mu ebiom na Ghana fo nyina beka na wo ahye ne so apia mpani de wase kwan ya na se gina yesie ni anamotu a aban wonam so opese wotu no na ne dibrese CJ woje free nsam no nya de akwa bia so na ni je ho enti ba kwa no wo ka ho asem se petitioners ya wo mo na SS wo matena sem afa captation gun penny bi esi official sheet so atworo brofo akese petition dia kwama mampeni se wo muntu no wo nyina wo bia nhye da ni evidence to me bia wo betimi aka se we di adasedie enti no ye gina so na afindibre ya je free nsam wase wono ankasa ni nipa fa hodie ene eguso a ye tietia so nti won de nya de akwa bia so na ni je ho asem ba kon osre high court se wo nyama ne se abedweko ya Ghana mampeni excellency John Dramani mama wa pau say that's is poor man we die nim no se hwe da bi won de won pe ebe ya papa ne pa de court na nkasa won kan kira ne se won pe ne baby ntina se ne ebe ya process no ebe timi akwaso ne kwaso na nya afe na wo bi asabe wone ne wa asem na nipa no wono ana na asem abe wote so a woje dem afe ba ko a wo kan wasem ye nchirechim mapa wode adan high court se mpanifo nhwe na afe wo mu ntimi enka bi emfama no na anu na attorney general my Ghana mu achirechim ya wo chesem application na ma mede wonu kra wadwene ho wonte asem en wote ase a wonwene ho sa application we ode koi no ne fire by pa anything asem na wo case yedi kan kra ye ho adwuma dada ebi kra guso pende e wo Supreme Court na wo so my Ghana na ye kasa Supreme Court wa na the High Court gina ho no ma court mienu we wan na ye bad time asem da Supreme Court ase me pagya de akwa High Court nti wo bua kire se court ne nse kwan bia so wo stress asem na piempeni wode aba no wan hwe so obetimi abo ade atuagu na no pay anase nyume Philip Atanga wadi mu nchemu edi abedan yen
na apomdin suafo honorable Kwabena Mita Akando sanso ya dwabo so mrashebedweni ena wode atudwa ewo mrashebedwefie ya chese COVID-19 ya ehun sem abeye dedwa ewo manwe mu yenya anentie se wode wani kire mu ewo University of Ghana campus ya nipa bi mu isusu se wo mu anya yade ni mu bi na ne kasa ye mu ene wo se wo mu a na yesusu se wo mu anya yade ni bi no wo mu eye ahasa ani dunsia na ne emu aha ne song ena ye hwehwem hu se wo mo di ampa ne ni nuampa yade no akire wo mo ne no ena o se apomdin asoe no aye krado se mo bia University of Ghana Health Directorate ne hia se de be ya yade no wo metimi abre ano ase no omo aye krado se wo mo de niema ebegu akwan mu
feeling unwell. Avoid gathering if you are sick. Go to the nearest clinic as soon as you notice symptoms. The Ministry of Health has made sure that our responses is well resourced. PPEs, test kits, and treatment supplies are all in place. Health workers are being supported, and emergency centers like the Ghana Infectious Disease Center are all on standby. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, this is a localized outbreak, and we are on top of it. There is no need for panic. However, we must remain vigilant and responsible. The Ministry of Health and its agencies remain committed to protecting the health of all Ghanaians, students, workers, families, and the vulnerable alike. Let us each do our part to keep our communities safe. Mr. Speaker, COVID is not over, but neither is our resolve. May the good Lord bless our homeland, Ghana. I thank you for the opportunity.
Wasanse nkwara mu ebra Honorable Kwabena Mita Akando ekasa yepe ena majority whip wasanso ye nsewom adoagiri mrashebedweni Honorable Frank Anodom Prenso ekasa ese COVID-19 ho asem a asori eka ho asem no se nya de a wose edidi agrokra na wosre apomdin aso ye no se wonye nkyerɛkyerɛ ema Ghana fo hu se yade no emu asan ayedin.
We can all appreciate the devastating effects of COVID. And the fact that we have not recorded fatality doesn't mean we should go and sleep. So I'm happy the minister has run us through the statistics. Over 300 suspected cases, over 100 confirmed cases. 100 cases confirmed cannot be a light matter, especially when it has to do with COVID. So there's a grave matter. I'm a bit worried about some few observations. Minister, correct me if I'm wrong, but I am aware the University of Ghana issued a statement, and I thought that as grave as this matter airs. That statement should have rather been issued by the Ghana Health Service. That's what comes to me. It should have been issued by the Ghana Health Service. And that will confirm that indeed our surveillance and monitoring system are up. University of Ghana to issue a statement, well, they have their independence, but all health directorates or any health subs body should be working under the Ghana Health Service. So there's a bit of disconnect there. And I want the minister to revert his mind to a thing like this. I see you came with your full house. The professionals are all here. They should also take this in good stride.
Wasanse nkwaramu eno na adamra shebedwani Honorable Comfort Kujonsu ekasa yese wasrada paase se COVID-19 ya asama ne munu so no wase etimi bode Roma Ghana for eti ase se enkane no na kwanya ye fa so etu COVID-19 ase kura ya ye ma anobra ase no se ye horo ye nsa face mask na ye de se ye nimu ene ye hwene se de be ye home a enkofa oha bi emre nditi ye ntamu na fe edu ebia ya wase enchia ya chese ni ye chia no ye gya ye no na ne blow no ushia onyonko a na odi ama no eno beboa ama yade no ano abrase.
We faced malaria outbreak. People, even WHO came to support. Still, we have malaria in the system, which means you have to protect yourself from mosquitoes. So once COVID is around, when the weather is cold, respect the protocols. Respect the protocols and make sure that you protect yourself. And that's the fact. We shouldn't behave as if it is gone cry that we won't see it again. Whatever the case, it is around. So let's still respect the protocol. When we are in public, we should have our hand sanitizers, washing of hands, and protecting our children, educating our children.
Amani boy, Emmanuel Akoli, ene William Gentu, ene Chrobraye, efri mashebedwe fie.
Ye tina we so ahumeka se bonu sitia webi ebebe sisia.
Peace FM.
How are you spending your Republic Day holiday weekend? Well, why don't you spend Friday, 4th of July at your Daddy Family Fun Games? It's open to all, not just old students of Presec. Clear your calendars and gather the squad. It's happening on 4th July 2025 at your Daddy Alumni and Mentorship Center, Legon, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Get ready for a thrilling day packed with football, paintball, tag of peace, sumo wrestling, volleyball, five-a-side football, ludo, owari, cards, and more. Let's bond, compete, and celebrate the blue magic that unites us all. Don't miss the fun, the food, the boys, and the girls. Save the date. Tag your mates online. Come, camera ready. Friday, 4th of July. Don't miss it. In thy light, we shall see light.
Hey, GoTV customers! From June 16th to July 31st, pay your subscription and get an instant upgrade on us. Enjoy Monday Madness with Big Brother Naija Season 9 Reunion, Telenovela Tuesdays, and Whining Wednesday with FIFA Club World Cup action. Enjoy Terrific Thursdays, Friday Fun Day, Blockbuster Saturdays, and finally, Sunday Best with Shaka Ilembe and Nigerian Idol. Pay your subscription today. Simply dial *759#. We've got you. T&C Supply. Go TV. Love it.
What be some plumber? A damn pipe no de boy dumano. Kaino say DPS pipe nkwa no fa mo aduma bribia o. Esan gidi amenya wo DPS pipe munti. Ne mfani agrokra o. Enti frɛ 0543 662 727. Pomechira kwan was Spintex Road. Coca-Cola chiriwa. DPS pipe. Chidie ashansodie. DPS pipe. Pipe nyina hene.
Happy delightful June. Swachilala, chichi soso. Afrana pa. Epepa breakfast and was in woman. Joe happy delightful juice against with toast, cereal, and even them cool. And we ate bread and fifi. The most fridge man. Happy delightful juice. One of one. And you be here. Recommend to relax away. So I know when you're. Let's say what the chamado.
Happy July free juice. Offer no pay we are bringing you all day long. One free juice. No Happy July. One different flavors, different size. Pay number 1 liter. Number from 150 and 250 ml. Ebenye healthy life shops on your supermarket. Happy July free juice. Loaded with taste.
Tune it in, turn it up,
Peace FM,
and rip off the knob.
Yama yetiefo nyina akwaba. Edom kuma wamra sebejafie minority caucus. Deputy Minority Leader Mame Patricia Pieje ana ojina wumane mukasa ye no wokyere se. Ekwanya Economic and Organized Crime Office for the former Chief Executive Officer, National Food Buffer Store Company, and Namswono, Omaninti Hokra, Abdu Hanan Wahab. Na said you almost see Tete Pape, any bear condition be a mudia tunity sono. Woman say a punishment pan wumode pape.
It is a legal instrument meant to ensure an accused person's availability for trial, not to punish or intimidate. Section 96 of the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act 1960, Act 30, and the ruling in the case of Payable Number 2 versus Attorney General both make it clear. Bail conditions must be reasonable. They must consider the financial capacity of the accused and the nature of the offense. These conditions, by all standards, are excessive. What is the justification for bail conditions that amount to financial punishment before trial? Where in our law?
Na enwati na wasre yoko boss. Ora Raymond atese na duma na woye no wonhwe se ontiatia o manfo fa ahudie so.
Sends a worrying signal that people who have served under a past administration will be targeted once power shifts. We believe this is not about justice. It is political persecution. It is part of a broader pattern under the current NDC administration to use state institutions to intimidate perceived political opponents. The Yoko, we know, should serve Ghana, not political. This is why we urge the acting executive director, Mr. Raymond Archer, to act with integrity. He must remember that how he handles this will define his legacy. Posterity is watching. Ghana is bigger than any political party.
The say Oka say a deputy minority leader, Mame Patricia Apieje, Kasiebono Esi, Amansan Tiame Kwabinamafo, and
Ohine wa Kasebo ahine na afei.
Mame akosia etonam.
Oson's chemist at the Oson's garlic capsules. A Buama immune system nya wadi kuti anyar wenti, yade anka wonto from da. MTN network ne swede. Ghana fana baby abekobia MTN wo ho. High Sense Ghana home appliances ya papa DCS fie no office nyina ehwo na yeto free. Dolphin roofing system na boda so. For when it East Legon Trinity Theological Seminar opposite. Say Dania Bako anase wesi abom dodo ebebo so kama titire ni abentuma ye 4 unto American kwe. Dolphin bebo mo dan so amamo. 0543661716. Budget cash and carry Brutain's energy drink or the bed so 20 years near. Estella you go so account call in him. Na o pedudu to akoton one sansa the paneton hunti 0208128190. Raoul's Pharmaceuticals seal. On what the new high lady virgin wash abba say you should be able sampa we oba wedimu why your best sima na emiamia wodwa ye ton robiano ubenya new high lady virgin wash ni bi wo honom ato emu oba dimu ayi oba sima mpa 0558 567 150. Pepsodent ahoɔden ne tan apɔɔsen kaeɛ ne nyinaa wode afa bi titiri osi anɔpɛ wɔ bambɔ kɔsi anwummere wotu no anwummere nso a wɔ bambɔ de kɔsi anɔpa. Pepsodent sɛ osidie bia ho hia no ɛnnɛ ɔhene yere spices na ɛwɔ soɔ aduane bi a bia no hia ɔhene yere spices sɛ ɛyɛ stew anaasɛ nkwan jollof na woyɛ wohia ɔhene yere spices a ɛma aduane ɛyɛ dani bi ɛwɔ mu. O pɛ dodo atu a ɛyɛ 0207 805 398. JM Ado and Sons ɛna wɔde adepa bɛdwa so yi. Ɛfrɛ no well sleep. Na well sleep yi obi wɔ hɔnom a wɔse edura anadwo a ontumi nna. Ɛnyɛ sɛ bi a adwendwene anaa biribi o ontumi nna nkasa. Wode kotobi na nom na hwɛ. Is it hard for you to sleep? Oh. And once you be spray well sleep na wode egu tetremase. Onya di gu tetremase ape. And one kasa be support body no. Ewo natural rhythm bi a ebetumi aboa mu wada na ho. Eye herbal ingredient. Ena yede aye. Ena oyi sunso a enya se ebeka wo ho debi. Eboa ma otumi da kama. Na JM Ado and Sons eno de sa de pay abedwa so. Fre 0243 933 160 0243 933 160. Ebusiafo ya damase ama mo monitor.